Hey, yo, what's good? Not every fighter is going to be a Hall of Famer. Not every fighter is going to be an all time great. And definitely not every fighter is going to be undefeated. Welcome to my Underrated Fight series where I give tribute to some really good fighters that are often disrespected, either disrespected or don't get the attention they really deserve. Today, I will be talking about Darnell Boone. Darnell Boone has a record of 21, 22, and 4. And you'd be like, dude, why are you talking about this journeyman, man? 21, 22, and 4? He got a losing record. Yes, he does. But I dare you to try to find an active fighter with a better resume than Darnell Boone, than Diesel. Darnell Boone he has 47 fights, right? He has fought 21 fights against undefeated fighters, 10 fights against fighters with 1 loss, and 5 fights against fighters with 2 losses. So that's 36 out of his 47 fights. He has fought in fighters with 2 losses or less. 36 out of 47. I don't know what that is, but I'd say that's at least like 80%, 85%. Also, at 5'7", this guy's fighting at 168, 170, when he has no business fighting above 154. But no one wants to fight him in those lower weights. No one wants to fight him at middleweight. So he has to get fights at 168 and 170. 21 21 fights against undefeated fighters, guys. That's extremely rare. I looked up some of the greats of this era. How many undefeated fights how many fights against undefeated fighters they have, and here you go. Pacquiao has 10. Manny Pacquiao. Timothy Bradley has 5. Floyd Mayweather, this surprised me. He only has 3. Bernard Hopkins, 66 fights. He's fought in 12 undefeated fighters. And Bernard Hopkins is a guy who's never ducked anyone. Of course, you got to read the context. He's fighting guys like Kawasaki, Roy Jones, Kovalev, Kelly Pavlik. But still, an undefeated fighter is like a 1-0. That's as long as you're not making your debut and you got 1 win, you're undefeated. That's De La Hoya has 9 fights against undefeated fighters, and I was like, okay, we'll see how this compares. I looked at Sugar Ray Robinson's record, and in 200 fights, Sugar Ray Robinson only has 1 fight against an undefeated opponent. That was Sedan. Believe. Gotta look that up. Make sure I'm right or wrong. But that's what really surprised me. That Sugar Ray Robinson only had 1 fight against an undefeated opponent. Yes, I know it's a different era, the 40s and the 50s, than today. People... You're not cuddled around. You don't fight easy fights your first 25 fights and such. Even Sugar Ray Robinson had a loss before becoming a world champion. I'm just saying that Darnell Boone has fought in more undefeated fighters. Yeah, no. The undefeated fighter he fought was Marty Servo, which he fought twice. So that's the only undefeated fighter Sugar Ray Robinson fought. So he's fought more undefeated fighters than some of these all-time greats, guys. I'll give you some of the names so you know they're not just chumps. Maybe you'll recognize some of these names, maybe you won't. He's fought in Sergey Kovalev twice, Adonis Stevenson twice, Willie Monroe Jr., Brandon Gonzalez undefeated, Edwin Rodriguez undefeated. Oh, Stevenson and Kovalev were undefeated as well, guys. Erislandy Lara undefeated. Craig McEgwan undefeated. Brian Vera undefeated. Curtis Stevens only one loss. John Pascal undefeated. Andre Ward undefeated. Lu Juan Simon undefeated. Enrique Ornelas 22-2. And for those guys that don't recognize his name, he had a world title fight against Bernard Hopkins. And Marco Antonio Periban undefeated, also world title challenger several times. I'll give a little bit of context to some of these wins. The first fight against Sergey Kovalev, he dropped him and he lost a split decision. He was the first fighter to ever go the distance against Sergey Kovalev. But you know, the curse of the journeyman or the curse of the gatekeeper, you're not gonna get a close decision. Many believe Diesel deserved the decision. He lost in the rematch. He actually knocked out Curtis Stevens, took his undefeated record, lost in the rematch. The funny thing about these rematches, guys, is Sergey Kovalev didn't rematch him till 2 years later. Stevenson didn't rematch him till 3 years later. So they didn't want that immediate rematch. They did not. They weren't quick to redeem themselves in this close loss or their first loss. I mean, this close win or their first professional loss. They weren't quick to do the rematch. And the interesting part is in the rematch with Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev last fight was when he killed a man. So Boone is not scared of anyone. He's not scared of fighting anybody. Funny thing is that the first fight against Kovalev and the first fight against Stevenson, I could not find either one. So I'm going to say, based on that, he beat Kovalev and he deserved that decision. Hey, if any of you guys find that video, find either of the first fights. I saw a short clip, like 8 seconds, of Stevenson getting knocked out, but I didn't find the whole fight. Or like nothing at all on the first Kovalev fight. So if any of you guys find the video of either of those first fights, let me know, guys. He fought Willie Monroe undefeated, of course, and Edwin Rodriguez, who's a big guy. Yeah, I think he's fighting a light heavyweight right now. He dropped Andre Ward in a razor thin decision. I actually think that Boone deserved to win that fight, guys. I think that it was extremely close. I think the 6th round decided it, and the 6th round could go either way, but I just could not give that round to Andre Ward because you just can't give a fight to a fighter that's doing more holding than throwing. I can't do that. I cannot do that. He was the first man to drop Andre Ward, the only man to drop Andre Ward, first man to drop Kovalev as well. Yeah, he's had a lot of fights on short notice. He's had to fight a lot of fights on like 3-2, weeks notices. His second fight with Adonis Stevenson was actually supposed to be at 168, but they changed the weight like a few weeks before the fight, and he's like, man, come on. He said Stevenson was just too big for him in the rematch. He was just too big. A lot of his fights he's been robbed, so he's only been stopped 5 times in 22 losses, and of those 5 stoppages, a few of them have been really early stoppages. In fact, he fought, when did he fight? He fought a few months ago. I just don't want to get anything wrong here. He fought on May, and he fought, of course, another undefeated fighter, Arif Magomedov. And that was a first round TKO, but I think that stoppage was way too early. It was not called for. I just don't believe it. Mm. Oh, he also did that rematch with Sergey. I mean, with Stevenson in Canada. He did that rematch, even though he won the first fight. He went to this guy's home country to fight him. His home country. So he just, yeah, he's had a really bad luck, like that thing with the weight. So that fight was at 170, and Stevenson still didn't make weight. He said he was like 178 like a week before the fight. So Stevenson was just too big. I'm saying Boone is 5'7", 5'7", and he's fighting in like light heavyweights. He has no business up there, but no one wants to fight him like at middleweight or 154. That's where he belongs, but no one wants to fight him at those weights. They're scared shook. And he fought Edwin Rodriguez after right after serving 22 months in jail. Yeah, he had just served 22 months in jail, and he's fighting 11-0 Edwin Rodriguez, and he went the distance with him. In fact, he went the distance with Andre Ward. First one against, like I said, against Kovalev. He went the distance against Brian Vera, against Curtis Stevens, against Jesus Gonzalez, who was undefeated at that time too. Against John Pascal, he went the distance. So not everyone's knocking him out. He is a journeyman, but he's a different one. One worth mentioning, guys, because he always fights to win. I see Paul Smith, who was there, he was supposed to lose, but he fought like he was supposed to lose. He fought like he was supposed to lose. I don't think it was ever his intention, even as his mind crossed his mind during training camp, that he could beat Ward. But Darnell Boone believes in himself to the fullest. To the fullest. He believes he could win every fight, and you could see it in every fight that he tries his hardest. In every single fight, and he will fight anyone. Anyone. I really hope that Darnell Boone could get that title shot and pull it off. Just pull it off, man. What a beautiful story that will be. How he got started with boxing, he actually turned pro at 24 years old, so he's a little bit of a late bloomer. He's 35 now. And he had a short amateur career, 10-0, 4-6, a losing record, But the first time, will show you the character of the man, and maybe I'll finish off with this. The character of the man that is Diesel Darnell Boone. The first time he went into a boxing gym, pretty much, and he knew he wanted to be a fighter, was his brother needed a ride to the gym, needed a ride to practice, he said. And then he's like, hey, what do you play? And his brother's like, nah, man, I box. He's like, for real? Mm-hmm. Like, all right. So he gave him a ride to the gym, and he was there in the gym. He's like, all right. And then he talked to the coach. He's like, hey, put me in the ring. And the coach was like, man, all these people, they come to me and they tell me, I wanna spar, I wanna get in the gym, I wanna fight, and they don't make it. And Diesel like, man, I will make it. I could do it. I'm legit, basically. And he's like, all right, who do you want to spar? So he picks a guy. Turns out that was the baddest guy in the gym. Maybe you guys don't know him. His name's Kelly Pavlik. So he did his first ever sparring against Kelly Pavlik, who turned out to be a world champion. His first ever time in a gym sparring was against Kelly Pavlik, and he didn't care. He wasn't afraid. Yeah, he didn't know who Kelly Pavlik was, but even if he did, I believe he still would have sparred him. And he says he went 2 rounds with Kelly Pavlik. He beat him from pillar to post, corner to corner, but he didn't go down. And after those 2 rounds, Kelly Pavlik gave him a hug, and he's like, man, you got heart. And he said, He told him, this is the sport for you. You'll make it in this sport. And Darnell has made it in the sport. Maybe not as a great fighter, world champion, but as a real test for people. Because if you're not prepared, Darnell Boone's going to knock you out. And we all love Cinderella stories and underdogs. So pay your respects to one of the most important aspects in boxing, which is journeymen. Journeymen and gatekeepers. You cannot have a sport of boxing without those men. You cannot have up-and-comers, getting prepared to face world champions without these men, without Darnell Boone's out there. who knock out anyone in their best day, man. Andre Ward has yet to be dropped. Andre Ward has yet to be dropped, guys. He's fought Arthur Abraham, Carl Froch, Mikkel Kessler, Edwin Rodriguez, Chad Dawson's. He's found some really good fighters, but none of them have dropped him like Darnell Boone has. And for my money, he should have got that fight too. He should have got that decision too. But comes with the territory, man. The ultimate underdog. Darnell Diesel Boone. Oh, yeah. I forgot. Shout outs to Fight Critic for suggesting this. Thanks, doggy. Some of you guys have been giving some really good suggestions for videos of underrated fights and for underappreciated fighters, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I just, I like to do my research first so I could get more information, better information. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Fight Critic, once again, for your suggestion. Keep it coming, man. Great videos too. If you haven't subscribed to Fight Critic, subscribe now. What are you doing? Subscribe to me too, guys. All right. Have a great day, man. Peace.